Hello and welcome to Seattle Sports Union Live. We are the Seattle Sports Union. My name is Bob Leckie. I'm your technical director for the night. Joining us on commentary, we have Abraham DeWeese, our editor-in-chief, and Matthew Page, our baseball editor. We are the best in Seattle sports run fan commentary, and join us on the web at seattlesportsunion.com. And take it away, Abe.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thank you for joining us tonight. Like Bob said, we are the Seattle Sports Union, and we got to watch what I would have to call an abomination of a game. Just one terrible, terrible effort in pretty much every offensive aspect of the game. Matt, I didn't really see anything from this offense that makes me feel warm and fuzzy.
Does the term lollygagging apply to football as well?
Ooh.
I know it applies to baseball, obviously.
You think there was lollygagging?
When an offense fails on this level, you kind of have to start pointing some fingers. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know, though. I mean, you say lollygagging, isn't that a lack of effort?
That's what it appears to be. I mean, the talent is there, the coordination is there, the players know each other. There isn't any change to the system. So what does that leave?
Well, I mean, yes, the way you break it down logistically, that's the conclusion that one could draw. Where I have a problem with the effort thing from what you're saying is I think it's actually talent. There's a lack thereof on the offensive line. Okay. I'm looking at somebody like Jamarcus Webb, or as I call him, Mr. Swinging Gate. This guy couldn't block anybody today. Now, granted, you're looking at Aaron Donald.
Oh, yeah.
You're looking at Robert Quinn and a host of other
fierce
players. Yeah.
Fierce defensive line.
But I didn't see him do much that made me excited about this team. Glowinski at the left guard position, he looked like he was unable to stop anybody. The only Soul also looked lost out there.
Well, to be fair, I did see at least a couple times. Specifically, there was also in the fourth quarter with the false start, they had Jimmy Graham lined up to block Robert Quinn. Robert Quinn, who is a top shelf defensive pass rusher in the league. He is a top 10. He's A+. And you have Jimmy Graham, who's blocking. I'm told he can block. Everyone tells me he can actually block, but in reality, he's like a C- blocker at best.
I believe he uses what's called the matador method of blocking.
Well, it's either that or throw your body in front of him and pray.
Actually, that would be better than what I saw. What I saw was more like he pushed the air, almost like Star Wars, trying to use a force push.
Ah, okay.
But,
so Jimmy just didn't have the force with him today?
He did not have the force with him.
The force was not with him. That's unfortunate.
I did see that he had 3 receptions, so he's back and looking mobile again.
Absolutely. 4 receptions, actually. No, wait. Sorry, 4 targets.
4 targets, 3 receptions.
42 yards. So
that's not bad.
He was solid. He was involved in the offense. I'd like to see that. The real concern for me, though, is Rawls. The running game.
What did you not like about Rawls?
He didn't look healthy. Every time he had the ball, they weren't blocking for him. So it's like he hands the ball off, and here comes 5 guys. You don't give him any room to run. Every time he even got a little bit of room to run, it was for like a yard at most. He finished the game with -7 yards. Part of that was his blocking. Part of that was I don't think he was 100%.
You and I talked about this before the show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Rawls was healthy coming into this game.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought here's what I think. I think he may have told the coaching staff, yes, 100%, I'm ready to go, because he's a gamer. He's not the type of guy that's going to sit out. And he went in there and he looked slower.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did look a pace off.
Yeah. And like you said, I mean, the offensive line didn't do him any favors. Kristen Michael, though, seemed to pick up the slack, and we saw,
60 yards. 10 for 60 yards.
So 6 yards carried, that's not bad, against a really solid defensive line from the Rams. But
solid effort for Michael. I have to give him props. That is a tough defense to rush against for anyone, even a team with a good offensive line, which ours was not today.
Since we're on the running game, Matt, what do you think about CJ Procise being injured, the ineffectiveness of Alex Collins, and the injury of Rawls? I mean, is this a perfect storm of an obliteration to the running back squad?
It's very concerning. It's absolutely very concerning because we are primarily a rush first offense. It's easier for our haphazard offensive line. It's easier to rush block than it is to pass block. So we're built for it with our haphazard offensive line. The problem is, Christine Michael is not anybody's real true idea of a number one guy. Rawls fits that role when he's healthy, but he's hurt. Procise is hurt. Collins he had 2 carries, but he didn't get anywhere. It's concerning, but the thing you have to remember is we were playing a top shelf defensive line. We were playing probably, in my opinion, the best defensive line, front four in the league. Period.
Yeah. Well, last week we probably faced the number 3 or 4.
Yeah. So,
So maybe we'll see more next week.
Give them a chance. Next week we go up against San Francisco, and they don't really have anyone on that line that's nearly as developed or as quality as Robert Quinn or Donald.
Let me get back to the question though. Any concern that the Hawks management were betrayed? By betray, what I mean is it's all gone to garbage with all the injuries and ineffectiveness of this running back core. I mean, they thought they had something special with this running back competition in the summer. Mm-hmm. But now it's just basically Kristen Michael, and that's
maybe Collins is the backup for now.
Well, Collins is the backup, but did you see anything today from Collins that made you think of his SEC days at Arkansas?
Well, I only saw 2 carries, so you didn't really get a good look. But no, obviously not. I saw Tukuafu on the field a lot. I saw him actually get the ball thrown at him.
Yeah, whoa, that was down there on the goal line.
Yeah,
I don't know about that one, Matt.
That was a mistake throw. If I was Russell, I would have just thrown the ball away.
Maybe that was the original intent. It's just I'm going to intentionally throw it over his head.
Well, he was originally it was his second or third read because his first read was Richardson over in the corner, and Richardson was just completely blocked.
Let's stay on this running back subject for a second.
Okay.
Well, do you think there's a problem that we kept Will Tukuafu and we got rid of Coleman? We don't have a true fullback. For example, if Coleman from last year were in there, I have more confidence in him catching that ball than Tukuafu.
Well, you also need to bring up the point that for week 1, we didn't even have Tukuafu. After week 1, we fired Tani Tupuo, and we moved him probably to practice squad. I haven't followed up on that. I'm sorry, but I'm sure he's back on practice squad or something. And Tukuafu was re-signed after being cut like the last day of camp. So we had to flip there at the last second. I don't know why we didn't go with Coleman.
Yeah. Or maybe
or someone else who could catch the ball and add that dimension, add that screen pass level of that's Prosice's role. That's the thing. We have Prosice on the roster for that, but he's banged up.
Boy, oh boy, it sounds like they went all in on CJ Prosice, and with his injury in the preseason, what was it, a hammy?
Yeah.
And then his injury now to his wrist. This is looking like a problem, a real big problem.
It could be. It's up to, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know how serious the injuries are. Rawls, of course, left the game with another injury. Latest reports on Twitter say it's a contusion in his leg, which is not going to heal fast and doesn't bode well for next week. And he already wasn't at 100% as we said. So, I don't know what the story is on Prosice.
But that wrist injury, I'm just wondering, is this a injury-prone person because he was injured at Notre Dame as well? Mm-hmm.
Can he handle the rigors of the NFL?
Exactly, and that's what we're starting to wonder about Thomas Rawls as well. Fantastic talent, but does he withstand the brutality of the NFL?
Yeah, and as you said, durability is probably the number one skill you want to have.
Durability is the number one ability.
Yeah, the number one ability you want to have in the NFL. And bottom line is, that's why we cut Jordan Hill in camp, because you need guys who are just there. And so this could develop into a real problem. We're kind of, we're in wait and see mode right now because we don't know the seriousness of Prosice and we don't know the seriousness of Rawls. And
did you see anything out of Russell Wilson that raises any alarms? Obviously the mobility wasn't there, but his final stat line wasn't terrible. Minus there being no touchdowns. There wasn't much that I saw that was bad as far as him throwing the ball.
His completion rate could be a little better, 22 of 35, but
What's that, 64?
yeah, it's a little low for him.
What is it? Do you have it in front of you?
Yeah, 22 of 35.
Okay.
It doesn't have the percentage. here.
It's 60-something percent.
Yeah.
I guess it's a little low. But
254 yards, though.
when you have guys in your face, left and right,
To be fair, 50 of those yards came in that last drive, that one throw to Tyler Lockett, which made everyone think, "Oh God, here we go again. We're going to win in the last second, like we did last week."
look at the-
I'm not too concerned about Russell, to be
Okay.
honest. The honest truth is that yes, it's harder to pass block, and yes, our offensive line makes me lose sleep at night sometimes, but he's a professional. He's been in the league. What? This is his sixth year.
This is his 5th year.
This is his 5th year. The guy knows how to make a throw in tight situations, what the right decisions to make, how to go through his reads. He knows how to read the defense. I'm not worried about him. He can transition into a static, pocket passer if he needs to, temporarily. He's going to eventually anyway. Everyone loses a step as they get older anyway. So, it may force the issue of him learning to be a pocket passer a little faster. We saw that development last year, and he performed beautifully as a passer. It doesn't worry. He doesn't worry me. He's the one player on the roster I just don't even worry about unless he gets hurt, and then I'm like real hurt.
Sure.
Then I'm worried. But
I don't know. 254 yards. It seems like a yeoman-like effort. 84 passer rating.
good defense he's going against. Though.
Yeah, it's a good defense. It's not terrible. I sent you a text message earlier today. One thing that concerned me was that whole first half, they didn't try to go deep.
Yeah.
And that bothered me. If they're stacking up against a run, how about you try to get some of those guys out of the box and throw deep? They eventually did it, which was good.
Stretch that defense.
Stretch that defense out. I wish, I'd like to see it a little bit sooner in the game.
What that is that's Darrell Bevell. And Darrell Bevell has a game plan, and he wants to run the first 20 plays like this. And that's the 20 plays, and they don't change those 20 plays. And you need to. And I understand you might have a script for like the first drive. Maybe you want to come out, you win the coin toss and you hit the field, and you want to have those first like 7 plays so that you can do no huddle and you can just go. And maybe that would work in some situations, but to me, Darrell Bevell has never really shown an ability to adapt.
It sounds like you're not super impressed with his scripting of the first several series.
His adaptability. He doesn't really do well adapting to what take what the defense will give you. If the defense is letting you rush 7 yards up the middle every single time you rush the ball up the middle, keep rushing the ball up the middle. Don't switch all of a sudden to the long bomb for no reason and go 3 and out after 3 plays. Keep rushing 7 yards up the middle until they stop you, and then find something else.
Yeah.
Take what the defense will give you. Adapt.
Defensively, I was not super impressed with the pass rush. Case Keenum, I know you're a lot higher on Case Keenum than I am. But let's face it, he's just a backup. And I didn't see a pass rush that confounded and confused him. We got him a couple times.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to seen more instances of that. I mean, for gosh sake, like the St. Louis defensive line was in our backfield all game long.
Yeah.
We made some penetration and got to Chase, but not with enough regularity. Why isn't there a pass rush? I mean, we have Cliff Averill, we have, Michael Bennett, we have Frank Clark. What's going on there?
Well, first of all, I've got the stats here. They only sacked us one more time than we sacked them.
Okay.
It felt like more, yes, but they sacked 3 times for 20 yards, and we sacked 2 times for 15 yards. So we did get some pressure back there.
So you're saying there might be some attunement to sensitivity of my team getting rushed more than them. Like the stats don't really bear out what I'm saying.
Yeah, maybe. It definitely felt like what you're saying. I mean, it definitely did. Like we did not penetrate. I don't think we were calling that kind of game, though. To be honest, I don't think we were really trying. We were really worried about Case Keenum's arm and getting to him. I think we were more worried about blocking the run, which makes
Todd
sense.
Gurley. Yeah.
You want to stuff Todd Gurley because he's He's the only real talent they have on offense. I mean, no offense to the rest of the team, but honestly, he is the only real talent you have on offense at the skill positions. There are no wide receivers on that team that really scare me. Tavon Austin's good in the punt return game, but on the wide receiver role, he's not that great. And yeah, as a quarterback, yeah, I'm higher on him than you, but you're right. He probably deserves to be a backup in the league. He just continues to get starts because he lands on teams where they just don't have anyone else.
So I'm a little curious. With Case Keenum performing the way he did last week and the way that he improved this week, he's pretty much safe for the next several weeks, right? You don't see a Jared Goff coming in and replacing him, right?
I would think he's fairly safe. He's performed reasonably well. They beat the heavily favored Seattle Seahawks today, and in their first home game, regular season game in LA, made a big statement with the fans. He performed well. He did, I think it was 18 for 30, 239 yards. No interceptions against the Legion of Boom, and.
Right. What is it with this Rams team, though? Why can we, year in, year out, we have a hard time with this team? Even when we win, it seems like an epic struggle with half of our team getting injured.
It's because they're in our division. They know us. They game plan for us. They care more about our matchup.
Yeah.
It's personal. It's just like, the Seattle Mariners game plan harder for their geographical hated rivals, the San Diego Padres, because they are hated interleague rivals, and therefore they really game plan for them.
Well, you make a funny metaphor, but
there
is truth. There is truth in what you're saying.
Okay, yeah.
In that they play us twice a year.
Yeah.
They know all of our players. Mm-hmm. Their coaching staff has been there for a while, so they have intimate knowledge of all of our techniques.
We haven't really changed our techniques.
No, we haven't. No.
So they've seen us the most. They know how. Well, they figured out what works against us and what doesn't. And so they set us in fits every time we play them. They game plan us better than the 49ers do. They game plan us better than the Cardinals do. It's crazy. They've got a good game plan coach or game plan staff there. And when we were going down and we were trying to project our way too early, projections as far as how many wins this season would go, I have to admit, I penciled in a loss against the Rams. I think
you just always. I know you. You always pencil in a loss to the Rams.
Yeah, I think it was
every season.
12-4 or 11-5, and one of those losses was definitely to the Rams. I know that. I just knew it would happen. But I think I picked the loss here at home though, because usually that's how it works out. Is it's the opposite.
Well, we did have a chance late in the game. We fumbled it away, but we shouldn't be getting into that kind of situation.
It should not have been that close.
Way more talent than they do.
In terms of talent, we are, in my opinion, number one. But in anyone's opinion, we're top 5.
Bob's giving me a look. I know we got to run a break, but I just want to cover one last thing here.
Okay.
So please don't interrupt me yet, Bob. Getting a little frustrated with people talking about how many game-winning drives that Russell Wilson has had. I'm getting a little tired of it because, my gosh, we should be winning more games handily.
Oh yeah. He shouldn't be developing this, the Cool Joe, or was it Cool Matty Ice or whatever, those names they have for the quarterbacks that are just, cool under pressure and the drives, late night drives. We should be winning these games. We should have won it in the second quarter, and then we've been putting in our relief in the back in the fourth quarter. We should be.
It should have been a 10-point win.
Tukuafu should be the only one touching the ball in the fourth quarter, or Collins.
Yes.
And Trevon Boykin should be out there snapping it in the fourth quarter.
Well, against nothing teams like this, you bet. I realize it's hard to get a win on the road against any team.
Yeah.
But come on, 3 points. We had not scored a mere 3 points in 2012, so that's 4 years. It's been 4 years since we've not had a touchdown.
That's embarrassing. That really is.
Okay, I know we got to run a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the in-depth details about this game and where the game went wrong.
Everywhere.
Take us out, Bob. What's that?
Welcome back, Seattle Sports Union Live. Again, my name is Bob. I'm the technical director tonight. On the show, we have Abraham DeWeese and Matthew Page talking Seahawks versus Rams today. But first, I am going to make a shameless plug. So, do you like to write? Do you like the Everett Silvertips? Well, we are looking for a new writer to expand into the Everett territory covering the Silvertips. If you would like to write for us, maybe even go to the games on us, leave a comment on this video or go to facebook.com/Seattle Sports Union and send us a message. Okay, over to you, Abe.
Thank you, Bob. Yes, again, that's right. We at Seattle Sports Union just received media credentials for the Everett Silvertips Junior Hockey League team. We are looking for a writer, and we can get you to where you need to be to become the next great sports writer here in the Seattle area.
You could be the Gretzky of sports writing. I don't know. That worked.
Okay, fair enough. But let's see. Let's go back to the game here.
Back to the matter at hand.
The 9-3 thriller.
Oh man!
If you love field goals, you would have loved this game. Yes. You got to see Nick Zerline kick 3 field goals, and you got to see Hauschka kick 1 field goal in an extravaganza, a kick-a-palooza, if you will.
And you got to watch John Ryan,
number
9.
Wow.
Kick what? Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 punts.
7 punts. If I remember right, even one of those punts was very, very bad snap.
Oh yeah.
It was fumbled, and he had to pick it up and punt it, and
he did so beautifully. And he also held the field goal for Hauschka.
Oh, okay. So if we were to give the SSU player of the game, our Seahawks writer gave it to Russell Wilson, but I think maybe it should have went to John Ryan.
Maybe, he was out there a lot, and he did his job well.
But really, though, we look at the drive charts. If you can tell the folks out there, what do we have? We had 3 and out.
We started with a 3 and out, negative 4 yards gain to start the game, and then we came down. We rallied. We had a 76-yard, 14-play drive, scored the field goal.
But then it's punt.
Then it's punt, fumble, punt, fumble to end the game.
Oh my gosh!
That's just the longest drive beyond the scoring drive was that last drive where we went 59 yards, and that was only on that one play with Tyler Lockett, that long pass.
Well, I love that pass to Lockett. What I did not love were some of the other long passes were called back for offensive pass interference. I have never seen 3 offensive pass interference in a game.
It's very rare to even see 1. I was amazed to see 3. It must be a point of emphasis right now or something. A point of emphasis. I can't even speak for some reason. It was very rare. One of them I would have to completely disagree with. There was definitely contact on another one, though. Our player kind of decided to, I think it was Lockett on one play, decided to play defender. And
I may have seen.
He's a little unfair.
I may see 3 in 1 year.
Yeah.
To see 3 in one game.
You know, and the thing is, I don't know if it's the rise in the league or if it's just the way that Pete Carroll has his players play, because I have seen this trend growing as a Seahawks player wide receivers. I've seen more and more of these offensive pass interferences happen, and even when it's not called, you can still see some plays where they probably could have called it. You know. So are they coaching these players that way, or is it just the league is now finally playing up on it?
I think your initial reaction was probably correct. There may be some sort of point of emphasis, and I don't think it's league-wide. I think perhaps it's a point of emphasis
where they've noticed it's a problem.
That was brought up maybe by the opponent.
So you're saying that maybe for each team, the refs have a list of like, watch out for these things.
No, I think there might have been some chatter from Fisher,
an official
from Jeff Fisher, the
something?
coach of the Rams. Yeah, like, hey, watch out for this, watch out for this, watch out for this.
We were watching all this gameplay and watch out because Lockett likes to push off and Curses really likes to push off, and Richardson's learning to push off, and in today's day and age where they favor the receiver so much and they're trying to kind of ratchet that back in maybe a little bit.
That's my thought. I don't know if that's true, but I mean, it seemed like way too many pass interferences. Actually, the whole game was sloppy as far as fouls, and that's an issue I think with just the mental acuity from our team. Whereas the Rams, I think it's just that's a sloppy team making sloppy penalties. For our team, I think it's just mentally not being in the right frame of mind.
Maybe they didn't take this team seriously in their prep. Maybe they kind of looked past us this game a little too much.
I would hate to say that, and that goes back to your thought from the first segment about effort being the issue.
Yeah.
And if it's an effort thing, then I think maybe you.
Yeah, it may not necessarily have been effort on the field, but maybe effort as far as practicing, as far as preparing for this game.
Boy, I don't know if that's the case, somebody's going to get fired.
One other thing to think about regarding back to the pass interferences, we've had this discussion, off camera in the past where back in the day, in the 80s and so forth, receivers would get absolutely mauled by defenders.
Oh, they'd get taken down.
And just absolutely just tackled, and there would be nothing called. And in today's day and age, they're basically like, you can't even touch the receiver without getting a flag thrown. So my question is, do you think maybe the league is realizing that's kind of gone too far, and they're trying to find a medium there? Like there maybe the...
I don't know. I look at other games. I was watching the first half of the Vikings and Green Bay game. I didn't see anything from them. Okay. I didn't see that kind of officiating there. Mm-hmm. Actually, speaking of the Green Bay and Vikings, boy oh boy, I saw offenses that
worked.
That worked.
Really?
That worked the way that we should be running the game. The Eddie Lacy 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Adrian Peterson. I was watching it and thinking, my gosh, we are not where we were a couple of years ago.
No, we're not. And, if this goes on much longer, Carroll might have to make a change.
What do you think would have to change?
I think Bevel needs to go. I've been saying it for years. But honestly, I think if the offense isn't firing, ultimately the blame lands on the offensive coordinator.
Yeah. You're an anti-Bevel guy. And I'm not saying I like Bevel at all either, but I'm an anti-Tom Cable guy.
Okay.
And I think this whole experiment with bringing in low-caliber, cheap offensive linemen has just been a disaster. And last year, we tried to have a defensive lineman be the center. And I know you have a New Jersey.
Yes.
You used to have a Max Unger jersey.
I have a John Ryan jersey.
You have a John Ryan. Okay, I just noticed that. I was going to point to his Max Unger jersey and state that we erroneously got rid of a player who anchored this team's offensive line and made sure that everybody, held fast. We replaced him with a defensive lineman, Drew Nowak,
who didn't know how to run the
at center
line.
Yeah,
it didn't work.
Did not work. Once we brought in Patrick Lewis to replace him, this team's offense started clicking.
Stabilized, yeah.
Yep. Now, I'm not saying Justin Britt's the problem. In fact, I'd say Justin Britt's the only guy on the team
I think he's doing a good
that I
job.
thought did any good.
Yeah, I think he's doing an all right job. I don't have a problem with him. It's everyone else.
He was fine. Sowell, I can see why, several teams have dumped him. Jamarcus Webb, I'm ready to just get rid of him.
So you're saying that you're saying overall that the problem isn't rooted in necessarily the full offense. You think it's contained just to the fact that the offensive line isn't working at all.
I think it is contained. Yes, you have surmised correctly. I think it's all offensive line. There's nothing wrong with this quarterback except for the ankle. There's nothing wrong with the receiving core. There's the tight ends. The tight ends are what we have.
Running backs are banged up.
The running backs are banged up, but I don't think Kristen Michael's terrible.
And he was finding holes.
He was finding holes. I was
He
impressed.
making some holes.
I was impressed by him. Will I say he's the next Gale Sayers or the next Walter Payton? No.
Absolutely not.
Can I say that he's a sustainable guy like a C.J. Anderson from the Broncos? Well, used to be with the Broncos. Yes. I think he's a guy who, in a system that doesn't need him to be the guy, can be highly productive.
He can be very productive. Be a number 2 guy, or just change the pace back, or just he'll find a role and be useful. I too was impressed with his level of effort today. I think if anything on the entire team, besides John Ryan, Christine Michael, absolutely, he put out his full effort in. He played with his whole ass, not his half ass. He played with his whole ass. Pardon my French. And I have to give him props. I was concerned about him, and because he's always only showed up in preseason, and he showed up in the regular season today. And
what did you not like about Bevel's game plan for today, specifically?
We kept trying to run, and like you pointed it out earlier. We didn't try and stretch the field. We showed right in the last play of the last drive. We showed what a vertical threat Lockett can be. We have Richardson as a vertical threat as well. We can stretch that field. Curse can outrun some guys. We do have the ability to stretch that field. Just take a shot on 1st and 10. And stretch that field and make them guess, or play action and then throw kind of long or something.
Play action is very interesting. What do you think about the whole read option element being removed from the game? That takes away a dynamic.
Yeah,
right?
I don't agree with that. I think we should have that, even if you don't use it, even if you're never handing the ball off, you're always just keeping it. It's another what if. It freezes the defense for a heartbeat, and every little heartbeat you can freeze that defense.
But right, I understand, but they're not going to believe it, right?
They might.
Well, if Wilson's not going to run,
well, then have him run.
Even injured,
have him slide. There was There was a play where he got a call for getting hit when he was sliding, and I didn't agree with that call. Although we benefited from it, awesome.
Oh, that's right. They called it a blow to the head.
He hit him shoulder to shoulder. It was fine.
Yeah, it was shoulder to shoulder. Also,
the guy jumped while he was starting to slide.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I would have given it to him, but I would have warned the defensive guy to not do it again. But I wouldn't have thrown the flag. Have him run once, even if it's only once. Just mix it in. Make the defense guess. That's really the goal, I think, of the offense. Because if the defense really doesn't know what's coming, then you can do anything.
What would you think about Trevon Boykin coming in 2 or 3 times a game?
You would have to. I normally don't support multiple quarterback roles. If Russell's really banged up and can't do the running that he needs to make this offense kind of that multidimensional threat, maybe. But I don't know. I mean,
I'm not saying like bring him in for an extended period. Just a gimmick play.
The problem is that you come in, you bring him in. The defense knows it's going to be Wildcat, or it's going to be a run with the quarterback, or So you got to make sure that if you bring in Boykin, it's something new every time. It's something completely different. Or you have him out there for like an entire series, just to kind of really mess with people. Like, why is he? Where's Russell? What's going on?
Right.
You know, and don't say anything, and have Russell go sit like back in the back bench or whatever, and not be anywhere on TV or something like that. You know, or whatever. Pretend trainers are working on him, and just totally fake everyone out, and then Russell runs back on the field for the next series. Just, you know, anything to keep the defense going. I mean, I don't think Bevel. You know, people will call it gimmicks. People will call it tricks. Who cares if it wins? If it makes them guess a half-step kind of question, so that Tyler Lockett is 3 steps ahead of the defender running for an end zone, and he catches the ball and he gets a touchdown. It works.
But you're saying bringing in Trevon for 1 or 2 plays is worthless.
Have him
either have him in or don't have him in.
Have him in for having. It's like what the Jets try to do with Tebow. Run Tebow on in, and then have Tebow out there for 1 play, and everyone on that entire field and in the entire stadium knows Tebow's on the field and the regular quarterback's on the bench, and they run a wildcat because that's what Tebow does because he doesn't have an arm, and the entire defense is ready for it. And then Tebow runs off the field, and the regular quarterback runs back on, and it was totally pointless.
You could have just handed off to the running back.
What you should do, and here's what I said from the get-go with what the Giants or what the Jets should have done back then, was have Boykin come in and have him line up as a wideout or a tight end, and have him on for a series as that, or as one of the packages. Have him be on the field as that role, and then when you go to a huddle and you come out, all of a sudden, guess what? Russell's lined up at wide receiver now. And so now there's another dimension there. There's a different quarterback. If you do it in that kind of different one, that's kind of a crazy idea, I know. But if you do it in that fashion, who knows what would happen? The defense will be like, wait, whoa. You know, they wouldn't have time. If you break from the huddle, you run to the line and you snap the ball as fast as possible. They're not going to have time to react that there's a different quarterback there.
So, yeah, I think I understand where you're coming from. We haven't talked much about the defense.
Okay.
I think that's partially because we gave up 9 points, and we'll take that every day, twice on Thursday, right?
Yeah, no, I didn't see anything blatantly terrible by the defense.
No, I mean, I would say the first drive by the Rams had me a little bit worried. What did they go for? I see you have it up
9 plays, 54 yards, and a field goal.
Yeah. I mean, but once it got down into the red zone, we shut them down.
We held the line, and that's our style of defense. We give you yards, but then when we get to the goal line, down to the 20, the red zone, we can tighten it down. We'll have less room to work with. We'll shut you down, and that's a good kind of defense to run.
So they had 1, 2, 3, 4 series that were extended drives, but again, I get back to this. If you give me just 9 points off of 4 really good drives, then your defense is doing a great job. Now,
in the NFL, absolutely.
If we're trying to nitpick, I would say that Cassius Marsh, that face mask on the sack. That was a silly move. I know he feels bad about it.
Did you see the look on his face as they went to commercial?
No.
Oh, they showed that Fox showed just like the close-in look at Marsh's face, where he's just like, I don't know, he was like stunned. He's like, "What happened?" At the call, he was surprised, but when he put his hand, like his fingers, like he didn't grab the mask, he grabbed his fingers were wrapped inside the helmet, and they jerked the head, and so that's what they jerked the neck. That's what the officials are looking for.
I was talking to our social media guy Kevin earlier about this, and I believe that Cassius Marsh, all he had to do is maybe just that, and would have knocked Case Keenum over.
Keenum isn't the most robust individual. I mean, I don't know if he can take a hit.
Just poke him and he'll fall over. I mean, he's not an athletic guy. I mean, obviously he's a much quarterback than
he's athletic
than a lot of players in the.
He's not Russell Wilson in that when Russell Wilson's healthy, he's not that mobile. He can't take a hit.
Well, what I'm saying is he's not getting away from Cassius Marsh.
No, he's not getting away. Marsh has got a full head of steam, and he's coming at you. You duck and you go down.
So I thought it was a little bit unfortunate that he got a little hyper aggressive on that one. I guess I would have to say that I would rather have that than a team that quits That defense didn't quit.
No, and that's evidenced by Michael Bennett's frustration there after the fumble at the very end. He forgot where he was for a moment, as he tends to do, and makes us angry occasionally. He decided to smack a offensive lineman right in the face because he tried to jump over the line during the time expiring kneels. Big information at the end of the game. That just shows intensity, and it showed anger that we weren't able to catch back up and win. It's frustration boiling over.
So we don't do this.
I'd rather have that emotion and deal with the penalty, for it, which we'll get to penalties in a second. But I'd rather have that emotion than, like you said, have them just not care.
So we just received a message from our technical director. I believe he wants to say something.
Okay.
About, what was it here? Something about the face mask penalty. What did you have, Bob?
Well, we got Cam opening the game with pretty much one of the most blatant face masks I've seen in a long time.
So face masks were definitely a theme, but I mean, it was pretty much penalties all over the board. You have the stats there, don't you, Matt?
Yeah, we had 10 penalties for 114 yards. I mean, that's just killer.
I feel like I saw more penalties than that. There must have been quite a few that were declined by the Rams, but I mean, those offensive pass interference were killers. Those were killers.
Well, when you see it's 114 for 10, you realize that there's definitely more than a few personal fouls in there. This isn't just offside 5 yards. There's some 15-yarders in there.
We had some defensive pass interference as well.
Oh yeah.
In fact, there was one that was effectively, and I know you hate Troy Aikman and Joe Buck.
I don't mind Troy Aikman. I just hate Joe Buck.
Okay. I know his voice is like, fingernails on a chalkboard.
The Peanuts teacher.
Yeah. But anyway, the commentary was very correct. That pass interference that we had on the guy was basically an incredibly underthrown pass by Case Keenum.
Yeah.
And our guy kind of just ran, I think it was actually Chancellor, he ran into the guy because the guy just stopped. So it wasn't really like our fault.
It wasn't intentional, but yeah. I guess it kind of was pass interference.
But you have the two face masks.
Richard Sherman got away with one.
He did get away with one,
in the end zone, actually.
But you get away with these little penalties that are mental errors and just.
But 114 yards of backwards motion. Or it's just.
Well, think about it this way: if I tell you that the Rams had 283 total yards, that sounds okay. Oh, defense did a great job. But what if I tell you that they had, 383 yards? Ooh, that's 100. You said 112 yards?
No, it was 114 yards.
You're just giving them the entire length of a football field.
Well, it could also be, it's negative to us too. You know my defensive.
I understand that, but what I'm just saying is if you're just giving them the entire length of a football field.
In penalties, that's bad.
Yep.
That's very, very bad.
And there's only 9 points, on the board. What if you didn't have those penalties? Maybe that's one less field goal.
Yeah.
One fewer field goals.
Let's be honest. You're never going to have a penalty-free game. It's going to happen. You're going to have one or two. You're going to have an offsides. You're going to have a false start. Stuff like that happens, but 114, 10 penalties is extreme, and Pete Carroll is probably shouting himself hoarse tonight.
Yeah. Okay, well, we got to run a break here because this is starting to get us frustrated as much as it got Pete Carroll frustrated on that pass interference call. When we come back, we're going to look ahead to the future. Yeah, to the future. And we are the Seattle Sports Union. We'll be right back after these messages. We don't have messages, do we?
No, we'll get some.
We'll be right back.
We'll get some, though.
We'll get some messages. Yeah, you almost knocked over. You almost tackled, Who's your president? mean, today's foul didn't really matter. I mean, it was inconsequential.
Kevin learns to fly, he's going to take the lead.
Hey, if you're out there looking at Seahawks perform, we're going to be New Year's.
I like everything. Is this recording? You know that we know people from Como that are watching. Maybe you should check them out and let these two talk. We're ready. Bob, you're also going to take us out with the show. Well, when the time is running out. Yeah, I'll wait.
Hey, thanks for sticking around. My name is Bob. This is SeattleSportsUnion.com. Visit us on the web at SeattleSportsUnion.com. It's right over there. Or visit us on Facebook at Facebook.com/SeattleSportsUnion, Twitter at SeattleSportsUnion, or Twitter.com/SeattleSportsU. And once again, Abraham and Matt are our hosts tonight. Take it away, guys.
Hey, guys. So today's game against the Rams was a bit of a snoozer. And if you were able to keep your eyelids open, it was a frustrating game. First game since 2012 that we haven't scored a touchdown. Yeah. Boy, this has been terrible. I would like to look forward to the future, though.
Yeah, let's just move on.
Let's
with our
look lives.
Forward.
Yes.
What happened, and we'll turn the page.
Okay.
So next week we are hosting the San Francisco 49ers here at CenturyLink Field.
Excellent.
And the 49ers have a completely rebuilt team. So that's the one we used to know.
Yes. In fact, naming people from this team has been a little bit of a challenge for me. But I know that your buddy, Chip Kelly,
my buddy,
and the Fighting Chipsters come to town using their little gimmicky offense that scores a lot of points. But hey, the great thing is they don't have a defense.
Are you talking about the 49ers or are you talking about the Oregon Ducks?
Both.
Both.
It applies to both, yeah. I was watching the score of that San Francisco Carolina game, and I think Carolina might still be scoring points at this time. I know it's a little bit late, but it looked more like one of those pinball scoreboards.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking right now at the box score for it, and the 49ers put up 17 points in the fourth quarter, and I'm wondering if that was garbage time in terms of, or did they put in their Carolina just pull the plug and say
put their B squad in.
Yeah, let's get some reps in for our backups, and that's why 49ers were able to score 17. They padded the score and they lost 46-27, but they definitely have an offense compared to the Rams, I would say.
Yeah, and that's
concerning.
It's a bit of a concern, but we get back to what we saw today was more dominance from the Seattle Seahawks defense. I don't think they've faced. I don't believe we've faced the Eagles when Chip Kelly was there. I don't believe we faced Chip Kelly in. Yeah, we haven't. But Pete Carroll has faced Chip Kelly in college.
Oh, yeah.
So there is going to be a familiarity with what that offense is. And the question is, will he and defensive coordinator Chris Richard be able to put together a game plan that can defensively match what that offense can produce? And if it's not a game plan, is there maybe perhaps a way to just keep the ball away on offense from the 49er offense?
So play a longer game on offense and just keep the ball.
Yeah, just run the clock out.
I mean, you're talking about an offense that, yes, Chip Kelly has revitalized the offense to a certain extent, and no matter what you think of him as a head coach before he went off the general manager deep end, just strictly running the offense, he has had incredible success. Fashioning together an offense that works at the NFL level. They've done very well on the offense. And he has shown that already. I'm looking right now. They're 4th in rushing in the league right now. So they're on their offense, and they're almost dead last in passing. So that's why they're 21st overall in offense. But their defense is actually ranked 2nd overall right now in terms of yardage allowed, which doesn't make much sense. But
Well, I'm starting. Wait.
you know what? Actually, that might be not updated for this week, including this week.
Oh, okay. Because I was
That
a
makes
little,
more sense.
I was a
Okay.
bit curious. I understand they shut out the Rams,
They absolutely shut down the
Yeah.
Rams. Yeah. Okay.
but
Those
46,
numbers. Yeah.
46 points by the Panthers that should have done something.
I'm looking at the Carolina yardage and stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that number would go down. But they're offensively, they have an offense. They're throwing very well. Looks like they're mixing it up in terms of number of receivers here, targeting. I mean, they've got 6 or 7 receivers are getting involved in the game. Rushing, they've got Carlos Hyde, who's a solid back.
He's a solid back, but I kind of think of him as like a Christine Michael type, who, they're better, but within the system that they're running, he seems to be very effective. I mean, back in the Harbaugh days, he seemed to be relegated as a 3rd down type to Frank Gore. But
Well, that's because Frank Gore's a Hall of Famer.
you think Frank Gore's a Hall of Famer?
Oh yeah.
I was watching him today with the Colts. We had a second TV, so we had like the Seahawks game and the audio on the Seahawks game. Second TV, we had that Denver Colts game. 33-year-old. Maybe I just need to remember him from back in the day when he was more effective. He just seemed like just another guy.
He's in his final year in the league.
But okay, so let me get back to the team, the 49ers that we're going to play. You mentioned that there are a bunch of receivers that they have that receive the ball. They're no names,
they're
though,
spreading
right?
it around.
They're no name
V.
guys. though.
McDonald,
Vance
Torrey
McDonald,
Smith, Jeremy Curley, Quentin Patton, Carlos Hyde, of course, Couple, Streeter. Who's G. Selleck? Must be.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of who.
Selleck must be the brother of Garrett Selleck. He must be the brother of Brent Selleck.
Brent Selleck, maybe.
Yeah, he is.
But I guess the thing is though, these are a bunch of no-name receivers. So do you expect to see a heavy dose of running?
I think what Chip Kelly has always done is he's used what he has, okay, to the best of his ability. He wants to run. In college, he set up the spread offense not to throw like everyone else does, but to open up the defense, to open up lanes for running. It was a running priority. He has Carlos Hyde, who today he had 14 carries, he only got 34 yards. Carlos Hyde maybe isn't the back that he really wants, and he's probably going to go into the draft next year and get one. But I think.
But that's not going to stop. That's not going to stop him from running.
He's not going to stop him from running. But I think what we're going to see more passing. Blaine Gabbert is questionable as a starter in the NFL. He's had plenty of opportunities. I don't know if he's gotten enough time yet in the system to really get situated. So will he succeed against us? Will he succeed in the system? We don't know yet. I'm kind of giving him the benefit of the doubt because Chip Kelly runs a different system than everyone else. So you got to give him a little bit of time in it. You never know. It might be Blaine Gabbert's perfect system. But honestly, I don't think we really need
You're
to
not
worry
worried
too
about
much. The way our defense played today, I have confidence in our defense, and I think I texted you a prediction of this next week we're gonna let up 12 points because they're that much better than the Rams, but they're not crazy good.
Yeah, and that's some obviously some pessimism, but I felt the same way as I was watching the game. But right about now, what I almost feel like is we just received our cupcake, and I feel like the defenses that we ran into against Miami and St. Louis are not the 49ers defense. I mean, except for Navarro Bowman and DeForest Buckner, I don't fear anybody on
Eric
that defense.
Armstead?
I haven't seen enough of him. He's a rookie. I only remember him from college.
Buckner's the rookie.
Oh, sorry, backwards. Let me.
Eric Armstead's the one that's from a year ago.
Okay, so the
both ducks, by
intent
the way.
the intent is still the same in what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of anybody because I can't name half the team.
Yes,
There
Navarro
was a
Bowman
time-
is really
There was
the older statesman.
there
that's
was a
left.
time 3 years ago, Matt, where I could name every defensive player
man.
on the 49ers.
They were stacked like we were.
Yeah.
They've had a complete overhaul, both in coaching, both in defense, and on offense as well. They had some great. They had Crabtree, and they had Bolden, and they had someone else there on wide receivers.
Well, you had Vernon Davis.
Sorry. Vernon Davis before he met Cam Chancellor and became a shell of the former player he once was.
Yeah.
They
had stars at every position.
They really did. They were stacked. And Colin Kaepernick they were playing in a style of offense that worked great with his skills. And I don't care what anyone says, I think he still has those skills. But anyway.
Deviating. The question is, let's get back to the defense.
I don't think
their
defense is going to hold us anywhere near. I think our running backs, if we can get Procise back next week, I know we probably won't get Rawls, but if we can get Procise back next week and mix him together with Michael and get a little bit of a screen game going, I think we're going to be highly successful.
Well, what are the stats here for the how many yards they gave up to Carolina? Carolina has a really good run game. While you're looking that up, I don't think that the 49er defense can handle what we're going to give them.
Total net yards 529.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's a scythe that you have. I mean, yeah, it's a sieve. I'm sorry, not a scythe. The scythe is the thing the Grim Reaper uses.
Yes,
it's a sieve. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a very effective defense. They're young. They're cast-offs from other teams. They're the backups that are left when the good players retired or left. So there's going to be a couple years before 49ers are back up to strength.
I don't know.
Our offense,
not with that general manager.
I think our offense will be successful.
I think Trent Baalke is a terrible general manager. I don't see the 49ers going anywhere until they get rid of him.
Okay, well, that's long term.
Yes.
But short term, as of next week, I think we have a very good chance of going 2-1. Going to 2-1 overall record.
Yeah, I think it's a relatively, as in relative to the first two games, easy win. I don't see us with an offensive explosion of, like 50 points, 40 points, but I could see us getting into the 20s and still holding these guys down to about, 14 points. So maybe like a 20-14 win.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'd probably go in about the same area, around 20 to 25 points for us, and maybe 24 points maybe it seems like a good number. And then, yeah, like maybe as much as 10 or 13 for them.
Okay, it looks like Bob's going to close us out for the show, but I just want to ask you, it's two questions.
Okay.
Who is your player of the game, and who's the GOAT of the game? Not greatest of all time GOAT, but who's the guy that messed it up this game
for today? Who messed it up for today? Well, player of the game, I am going to go with John Ryan because that's consistency. Come on, man. Come on. And for GOAT, man, I don't really have a specific person.
Okay, well, I point the finger.
Maybe Webb.
Jamarcus Webb.
Yeah, I like you pointed out. I saw him just not have a good time.
It would be easy for me to point the GOAT at Christian Michael for fumbling on the last play of the game, to Cassius Marsh for that, unwarranted face mask, for, Jermaine Kearse, with the offensive pass interference. But it has to be the offensive line. That it was not good enough.
Oh yeah.
It was not good enough at all. We need to think about bringing in Bruce Odiombo.
Oh yeah.
We need to figure out a way to let Jermaine Ifedi get healthy. Don't try to rush him back.
Yeah.
But we need to figure out a way to get him back in there.
Yeah.
And that Webb's not good enough. And maybe the GOAT is also Snyder and Carroll for letting Okung go for nothing.
And keep an eye out of the trade deadline for anyone we can possibly trade for, because we're going to need it.
All right. And I forgot to give, before Bob takes us out, I forgot to give my player of the game.
All right.
I would have to actually give it to, I'd have to give it to Case Keenum of the Los Angeles Rams.
He stepped it up.
He stepped it up. He proved that he was adequate.
He burned us on a couple good throws.
He
really did.
I wish we gave him more pressure. I don't think he's good under pressure, but when it came time to play a conservative game plan, he did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right, guys, we're gonna see you back next week, and it's been fun doing this show, and we are going to continue doing it, and we want you to join us at Seattle Sports Union. We just got our media credentials at the Everett Silvertips.
Sweet.
All right, Bob, take it away.
Take it away, Bob.
Thank you, Abraham. Again, thank you for joining us. This has been SSU Live. We're the Seattle Sports Union. Visit us on the web at seattlesportsunion.com. My name is Bob Lucky. With us tonight has been Abraham DeWeese, Matthew Page, and Rory the Wonder Dog. Thank you for joining us. Visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/Seattle Sports Union. If you like this video, please click like and click subscribe. Have a good night, everyone. Go Hawks.